This is the Spinner Rack.
Welcome everybody back to Spinner Rack. Whoa! I'm here with Kyle. He's back in the house. Today we're talking about DC news. God damn it, there's been a lot of news in DC world, and we gotta hit you with it and what we think about it. So number one, straight off the bat, the number one news out there, Ben Affleck is not going to be in the new Batman film.
Yeah, you're happy about that, aren't
Is
you?
he not going to be Batman? I don't know. You know, Matt Reeves is the director of the film.
You're kidding me. He just said he's not going to be in the film. He's done. Come
No,
on.
he's not necessarily done. He still has a contract. The contract isn't over. It's possible he could show it in cameos. I'm just saying,
Why would he showing cameos and then you're trying to do a new Batman?
because the new Batman is supposed to be younger. That's where the film is supposed to be going. So,
So,
how
so
do you
Affleck
explain-
is going to stay on so he can be old Batman?
I don't know. I'm just saying, right now, the way they have it set up is...
He's out.
Look, right now we have Wonder Woman. She was in the 1980s. She came forward. We have Aquaman. He's now, right? So if you have a younger Batman that's supposed to take the film supposedly is supposed to take place in the past, how do you explain that with the current Batman?
That's just too convoluted.
It is, unless they just say scrap it and say, we'll just do a completely new Batman.
That's what they're doing.
Well, I don't know. When we see the script, when we find out what's going on, we'll probably agree with that.
Look, we already know that DC... Okay,
Cleaning
DC...
house?
No. DC screwed up, okay, from the onset in terms of getting their whole stuff together.
Okay.
Now they have successful films in the terms of Wonder Woman and Aquaman, but they're still tied to what went on before. So these guys are like, okay, we want to lose the stuff that wasn't successful, Batman, Superman, BVS, we want to lose that, but the stuff that we have right now with Wonder Woman and Aquaman is still tied to that. So how do we extricate this, okay? We're like, what do we do? Especially if Shazam hits the way that I think it is, these guys are going to be like, man, we've got a problem over here.
Well, they can do this called Crisis.
Yeah, they're going to have to. They would have to do that.
Crisis will be the way to rock.
But are they going to be able to do it effectively? That has been the big problem. See, in the comics, they had trouble with that. It took them. They had to reboot a few times before they understood. Okay, this is what this is really for. Because it was the first time anybody ever done it. Most of the time, they just made changes and they went on. Nobody.
No, that's another world. Let's move on to another one.
Yeah.
And that's all they have to do. Yeah. I mean, and that brings us to a good point you said. So now that they've done this, you're right. They're trying to reboot the whole DC universe, and now you have, particularly with the new movies that are coming out, such as Shazam, Birds of Prey, the Joker movie, and James Gunn is writing the screenplay for the Suicide Squad. I mean, which we think that could probably end up. Most likely, he's going to end up directing that and being the new Guardians of the Galaxies, I guess, or Guardians of the Planet, if you want to look at it. What do you think about that? Do you think DC's now on the right track with all these slates of movies coming out? We have Shazam coming out this year with Joker later on in the year. The smaller budgets, number one.
They're under. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They're smaller budgets, and then they have the Birds of Prey movie that's supposed to be coming out, I believe, in 20 or 2021. And James Gunn's movie, if it gets written, it'll probably be done by 2020 or 2021.
They've got it. They gave a date. It's supposed to be released June of 2021.
For James Gunn? Oh, wow. So that's
for the Batman film.
Oh, for the Batman film?
For the Batman film. I'm not too sure about Suicide Squad. I haven't heard anything
Batman
yet.
film. So what do you think about that? Do you think DC's now on the right track, or?
Yeah, they're making better steps, but they still have this big hulking. They still have this big hulking monster that's still the movies that they did before. Okay, and they still haven't gotten away with those. You were able to get some success. I mean, look, the one thing that kept these guys afloat was then, even though these films didn't necessarily resonate with people, they were not financially destitute films at the end of the day. Okay, let me put it like that. The films made money.
Yeah, they made money.
So they could continue making films. They didn't take losses. Wasn't a magnificent flop or anything of that nature. But it still wasn't what it needed. These films were still not what they needed to do. Now, you've got two films in Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Like, okay, fine. We're actually seeing, okay, these are showing the right signs. Okay, we're seeing the money. We're seeing the numbers that we should be getting. Aquaman made a ridiculous amount of money. I have no idea why the hell that film made as much money as it did. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But then it was the same thing with some of these other DC films. I was like, why are you people paying to see this? It doesn't make, but hey, you know what?
Hey,
it's outgrossing all these other films. I'm like, man, people just have money. The economy must be great.
The question is it a Aquaman movie or is it Jason Momoa movie, and unfortunately, I think
It's both.
I
It's
think- I think-
it's
I
a
think
Jason Momoa movie and it's a superhero movie.
Yeah,
It's both
and
of
so
those.
He is a sweet. He hit the sweet spot, and you got to give credit to Jason Momoa. That dude works his butt off. I mean, you go to every con. I keep saying this again and again. He's gone out there. He's done the interviews. I mean, he's been all over, and he's pushed this movie super hard. And he's been pushing it for like two years now. You know.
Yeah, I mean, look, he definitely put the work in.
You know,
Okay, so
enough respect there. But do you think you said DC? You think DC's turned the corner now?
no, they haven't turned the corner. They are making some better moves. You know, no one can deny that. They are making some better moves, and we're seeing the results of those moves. They have decided to abandon this whole where our universe is going to be darker nonsense because they're superheroes. Who wants to go to a film and like, oh wow, you know, that was so like no, you know, these guys are supposed to save people and save the world. That's what you're going to see every time.
They're still coming with this crap where, and I'm now starting to think this is a marketing thing. They're coming with this crap. They're saying that the Joker movie may be R and the Birds of Prey may be an R movie. And I'm like, what are they talking about? Why are you leaving money on the table? You know what I'm trying to say? Why would you say those movies are R? Because the minute it's R, you're going to lose a whole bunch of audience.
I'm not sure why you would want to make a Joker film right now when you still have all this other stuff going on. But these guys, that's what I'm saying. They haven't turned the corner yet. You turn the corner yet when you're like, okay, wait a minute. What do we want? Do we want a shared universe? If the answer is yes, we've got to clean up. You know, we've got to clean up what we have right over here. And that means when we're making these films towards that particular cleanup so we can have that shared universe, which is going to make you more money at the end of the day.
I agree with you.
Okay,
right
because that rising tide is going to lift all of the ships.
I agree
If
with
it's like, no, we don't want that, we're going to just come out here, we're going to see about striking with the solo films and try to stay relevant so we still have our superhero stuff going on, and then this other thing is going to be on the side, then no, because eventually you're not going to be able to maintain that, because Marvel was already in that boat, where they had those solo films, you could have like a franchise like Blade that was successful, and then you would come over with Elektra and everybody hated it, you know, or didn't do well along those lines.
Well. So I gotta say, Cal, you're missing probably the biggest, I can't say turn up in the room, you know.
The biggest elephant?
The biggest elephant in the room. My metaphors are off. Sorry. Superman.
Yeah, what about?
Now that we have Jason Cavill basically on the outs, right? It's a possibility he may come back in.
Henry Cavill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, Henry Cavill. It's a possibility he may come back in, but right now
he's not coming back, and neither is Ben Affleck. I don't understand you nerds. Let it go. Good grief, man.
Could be, we're not 100% sure, but the very fact is they really need to be developing somebody right now for that particular role. You know what I'm trying to say? Because, I mean, he's central. Right now, he is, what is it, the Trinity? You have Batman,
Superman
and
Wonder Woman.
But now with the success of the Aquaman, you know, you have to make it a quad, basically.
No.
Of course.
No, you don't.
If he keeps making the money he's making, there's no way you're going to...
One, he has to keep making the money that he's making.
All he needs is one more movie,
and again,
and that's it.
Aquaman and Wonder Woman both have the same things going for them. First film ever. There was a great amount of goodwill towards these films. First film ever. And they were not mired. Okay, imagine. My prediction is that they'll cast a new Superman actor. They'll make a new film, and that film is going to do much better than the last film, and probably do a lot better than these other films, because Superman is this global archetype where people recognize him. But you have to give people Superman. Like, if they gave people an Aquaman and Wonder Woman, it was just like, hey, we've never seen these guys before, we can go over there. Now you have an expectation. Now you have a barometer. Okay, with Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, those type of guys, those are the guys they love to keep putting out because those were the archetypes at the end of the day that people could easily recognize and go right into. These other guys, even with Wonder Woman, okay, these other guys, they're a little bit more off to the side. We're like, okay, what's going on? What are you doing right over here? They never had that particular type of, particular type of status. So now you want to try to put to be honest, the fourth member of this whole, it's supposed to be Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Captain Marvel, or Shazam, if you will. That completes your whole thing. Those are the four corners of the DC universe, and they have been struggling just to get Captain Marvel right in comics for so many years. So now you come over, if he hits in the film, then it becomes, okay, what the hell have you guys been doing all this time in the comic? Why couldn't you get this right? But it's the same thing. This isn't the first Captain Marvel film. This isn't the first Shazam film, rather. But this will be the first time he's on the large screen, okay? Because, you know, Captain Marvel had the first superhero movie, okay? He was even before Superman. Captain Marvel had one. He had the television show, okay, back in the 1970s. So it's not like he hasn't been brought out to the public before and they responded well to him. It's just been like, hey, you know, We're too busy cleaning this wax out of our ear.
But Cal, look, the reality is right now is that the audience awareness of Aquaman and Wonder Woman are now going to make it likely that the movies are going to do even better next time.
We'll see.
The same thing like the Captain America films, the same thing with the Iron Man films. They will do better. The likelihood that will occur.
The Iron Man films, okay, Captain America that was a good trilogy, period. That was well written, very well executed, along all lines. I dare anybody to say anything different. Those were very strong films. Iron Man, I can't say the same. Iron Man 1 I didn't enjoy as much as I enjoyed Iron Man 2, and a whole bunch of people said Iron Man 2 was off the kilter. Iron Man 3, hey, for me, Iron Man 3 did very well, but I was just like, look, that just kind of swept in.
That was like...
It just swept in with this wave.
But it made a whole bunch.
That's the problem. Right. There's this big appetite right now for superhero films. There's a large amount of goodwill for superhero films as well. Because we're seeing that in terms of the Marvel films, even when these films are kind of like, well, that wasn't too good, but the money is still there. Even with the DC films, where it's like, this is terrible, but the money is still there. So there's still a very strong appetite for these films. So I don't know. Okay, if the appetite gets to the point like, well, show me what you have right now, maybe not. It depends.
So for Batman, who do you think they should probably cast for that?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I could not think of one person right now who I would think is a good pick for Batman or for Superman.
You should go with an existing star, or do you think they should go with someone new? I think they should go with someone new. Just bring someone in who's fresh.
Just get somebody. I mean,
who doesn't have like a big movie stature. Because you know what it is. The key thing is the character. You want to have the character. Have someone who can act it out well, who's willing to commit, who's willing to go out and meet the fans. Because I think that's one of the great things about the superhero films is that you have those characters, the guys who play them, go out there and really do. I mean, we know it's press, we know it's publicity, but people want to connect with those stars, and especially when you see them at cons and when you see them at showings, it's a big difference. That's my take on that.
I would go the same route they did with Smallville, or they did with the Superman film. I would get an unknown. Okay, and I want somebody who physically inherits this role. He has the jawline, the height. He doesn't even have to build, because I can go and feed him chicken breast for 6 months and get the muscles up. But I want somebody who looks like Batman, not Bruce Wayne, okay? Because most people could give a damn about Bruce Wayne. This guy needs to look like Batman, like he could actually be Batman. Because the Bruce Wayne stuff has been played down so much at the end of the day that it just doesn't matter.
Well, the funny thing you said that, because Matt Reeves saying that he wants to do a movie where Batman actually does some detecting. He's supposed to do the world's
greatest. That would be great.
He says Batman is the world's greatest detective, but you always see these huge set action pieces, which is not, he's not going to take a lot of those out, but he's saying there needs to be more emphasis on him trying to figure things out and utilizing that.
Yeah, Iron Man did more detective work in Iron Man 3, where you're like, okay, let's connect the dots along this route. And I would probably look to do the same thing with Superman. Like, try to give me somebody who, I think the first 2 times they had the right idea, with Christopher Reeve and with Brandon Routh. Give us somebody not as well known, somebody who can grow into the role, as opposed to, I thought Ben Affleck did a fine job as Batman, okay? But Ben Affleck has his own baggage from other roles.
But see, I have a problem with the whole Ben Affleck. I like Ben Affleck. I thought he was a great thing. But now in hindsight, I should have thought, like, wait a second, this guy's doing so many other things. Remember when he did the Batman role in BVS? He then did the accountant, and then he's doing other things. He was a writer, director, the producer. You saw
the accountant?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing though. When you come over, I think a lot of more people will be more willing to accept Ben Affleck as the accountant, because Ben Affleck is such a big name that there is no, it's Batman starring this guy. It's Ben Affleck as Batman. His name comes before. And then any of the baggage that he had, I knew guys who hated him as Batman just because they didn't like him for whatever reason, which I said was totally unfair. I mean, and then I saw The Accountant. I see him in other films as well. The guy knows how to go into a film and execute. So it's not like, he can't do it.
He had too many roles, and I think that's probably one of the reasons you have him as director, producer, screenwriter.
That's where he's at right now.
But I'm saying that should have been, we need someone who's more focused on the role. Matt Reeves be the director and the writer, and let the actor be the actor. So, last thing, DC, now that Aquaman has made over $1 billion, is the number one, at least in terms of today's dollars, the number one DC film. What do you think that portends for the DC universe? Do you think they're going to be? It's not going to be Aquaman, Wonder Woman, or you think it's going to be something else?
No, they have to get. Look, the big two draws that they have are Superman and Batman. There's too much. There's too much time, money invested in these two guys to say, okay, you know what? We're going to put you guys over here on the shelf, and we're going to go a different way with these dudes. Because anybody sitting in the boardroom is going to say, hey, okay, how much money did this Aquaman man? Okay, Aquaman made how much? Great. And we can't get that out of this guy over here? And everybody knows who this dude is? What the hell are you people doing?
Good point. Good point. Good
Think
point.
of it
Good
like
point.
think
Good
of it
point.
like
Good point.
automobiles or something. Like what's like the premier automobile? Like a BMW or something?
Tesla. Everybody talks about Tesla.
If I'm over here and I'm winning races in my RAV4, and they're like, wait a minute, I'm winning races over here in this RAV4? What the hell is wrong with this BMW over here? You know, come on.
True.
You've got to be kidding me. There's too much. They said that the S symbol, okay, the Superman S symbol, is the most recognized. It's the most recognized symbol on the planet. On the planet, next to the crucifix. Okay, that means it's either Jesus or Superman. People know it. That means you should have no problem marketing and this is selling it. But the approach has been so wrong, where they come at it. Oh, well, Superman's so powerful. We got to find some way to weaken him and show him as humanity. It's like, who wants to go? Paris Cullins. Remember we had that chance to speak with him. He had the right idea. He said, look, do you want to be these guys? Okay, look at this guy over here, Man of Steel. This guy had superpowers. Superpowers. Would you want to trade your life? That's like, no, I wouldn't. Okay, he looks utterly miserable at the end of the day, and that's not supposed to happen. Now, look at Batman as portrayed, okay, in The Dark Knight, okay, or any of the films, any of the Nolan films. Okay, if you ask, hey, would you want to trade? Yeah. Okay, why not? Because it's not the money, it's the character. I would want to be that guy who's going to put it all on the line to make certain that Gotham is safe. I want to be that guy who comes back at the last minute and says, no, okay, you've got something you can believe in me. Those are things that, okay, yeah, you want to connect to that. I don't want to necessarily have my back broken, but you want to know that you can, as they said in the film, you can rise from that, come back, and then do what's necessary to help other people. That's the stuff that's attractive to people. Now, if you come over here, well, you know what, I don't know what I should do, and I'm going to snap a neck, and, then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to try to kill Superman because I'm acting like a psychotic loon or something. Nobody wants to be those people. And superheroes, at the end of the day, represent these higher ideals for us in terms of what we can do as people. Not necessarily flying around or swinging on a bat line, but what we can do, okay, when we put aside all that selfishness, okay, and truly purport our best qualities. So right now, I got to see if they can do that. Aquaman was a lot of fun. Wonder Woman, okay, was a lot of fun. Can you tell a good superhero story? Where is the story about heroism? And you're going to either get that from Batman or Superman, because that's the way that it's looking at this point. If you can do that, you can do a Superman story that reminds people, this is the reason why we're here. This is the reason why we have all these abilities, okay? And this is what we mean to all of you, even in fictional form. Hey, you got a $2 billion film on your head, but you got to be able to do that.
I think they're going to need a Flashpoint.
I think they're going to need two.
Well, listen. DC, you're on the right track on what we're talking about, basically.
You're definitely correct in the course of it.
So just keep going. Spin a rack. Out.